Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Welcome back to Nets Republic. You're here on Nets Republic. I'm your host, Sanford the Bond. Nothing positive to say tonight. So if you're allergic to slander, this is not the video for you. I'm gonna go ahead and be honest with you. If you're allergic to criticism of your favorite team and your favorite athletes, this is not the video for you. So I suggest watching another one. Um, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're like 9 subs away from 800. So if we could just push over that line real quick, tell a Nets fan to boot the channel. We're like, no joke, 9 subs away from 800. So it'd be just really dope if we could get that soon, please. Also, if you get a chance, go to dopejerseys.com and pick up some Nets Republic merch. The title of this video is How Does Ben Simmons Foul Out? And it can be summed up in a very simple sentence. The Nets are too small. And assuming that Day'Ron Sharpe is injured, we are we are already in a lot of trouble and we're only 1 game in. But I'm trying not to overreact because it's just 1 game. It's 1 game of 82. So we've got 81 games left in the regular season. So I'm trying not to go too crazy. I don't want to get my Chris Brown and Young Thug on and go too crazy. But yeah, Ben Simmons fouled out. He only scored 4 points. 5 rebounds, 5 assists, something along those lines. And there was a couple times where he went to the bench, and I just found myself asking the question, like, what is he tired from exactly? Because I'm not quite clear on what he does that would result in him needing to go to the bench as often as he does. But, I'm sure it takes a lot of cardio to run around in circles, but it's all good. I'm not gonna slander. It's too early. I'm not gonna say nothing. I just think it's interesting the amount of breaks that he gets in the middle of games when I just feel like he's not really doing much, but that's neither here nor there. And not really getting many assists. I don't really know what happened to the whole pushing the pace thing. I thought that was our thing, I thought that was our thing, get the fast breaks and all that. But I saw a lot of dribbling the ball up the court and then standing at half court and looking around past the left, ISO KD brick. Like I thought we were gonna do the whole push the pace thing, but that just kind of went out the window. I don't really know what Ben Simmons did tonight. I couldn't tell you other than he fouled out. Now, one of the main reasons why he fouled out is because the Nets are too small. And this was basically the main fear that I think everyone had going into the season. We just hadn't really been tested by a huge team outside of the Milwaukee Bucks, which again, I'm still a little stunned at how it is we were able to win that game. I think it was because we were pushing the pace so aggressively that the Bucks weren't able to recover in time. And also, like we talked about in the last video that we did, it turns into a situation of what happens if we're down. Like, I know we play the defense every now and again, and that's cool and such, but what happens when we're down by a considerable margin? What happens when outscoring the opponent doesn't work and we can't get to our sets, we can't get to our alleged plays? I have to say alleged because, again, Steve Nash, I actually was nice to Steve for 2 videos, and here we go again, but that's not here nor there. What happens when you can't get the shots off? In the first 2 quarters, basically the whole game, the Nets could not buy a bucket. Really, the only person who was scoring consistently was Patty Mills and Kevin Durant. That's really it. Sumner played well in the 4th quarter, I guess, but no one else was really hitting shots consistently. Kyrie couldn't make a shot to save his life, which just makes me look like an idiot because I've been screaming this X Factor thing, and then he goes and performs like that, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, it was just not a good night, and it turns into that question of, if we are not going to outscore the opponent, we have to then make it difficult for them to score. But if we're not going to do that, if we're going to have a score of 2 to like 14 before we score again, I don't really see how we are able to scrape ourselves out of these holes that we get into. You know, how are we gonna contest? And speaking of contest, what are we gonna do when we've got these gigantic players, and not even gigantic as in tall, but just big burly dudes? You feel me? Like, you want to know why Ben Simmons fouled out? It's because we had him on Zion. Like, the first couple times that he was able to, like, get in his way, you know, it was cool. But this is the NBA. Like, this isn't a pickup game where it's like the offensive player, like, you can be physical and, like, get up in their space and, like, bother them from making the shot. It's the NBA. The offensive player who's more aggressive is going to get the call. So it's like, you can't just like, oh, well, I'll just be physical back. No, they're going to call a foul on you. And I think that was Ben Simmons' mentality. Like, I'm just going to be physical back. And it's like, bro, against Zion, I don't think that works. Now, what does work against him, I couldn't tell you, but there's got to be another solution. I'm just concerned that we're just a little bit too small. And if Day'Ron Sharpe is hurt, then we just got even smaller, and that just leaves us with Claxton. Let me tell you how the game went for me, from my point of view, right? We were down by a considerable amount in the first quarter. We get it to a booted 8-point game in the second quarter. Some rapper who I've never heard of goes out there and bores me to tears so much that I sleep through halftime all the way to the fourth quarter. Couldn't tell you what happened in the third. I haven't the slightest idea. I just know I woke up when we were down 20 in the beginning of the fourth quarter. So how we got there, couldn't tell you. Have no idea. Fell asleep. But that's just kind of what happens. That's what happens when you just get the vibe that things aren't going the best. So I can't give you that much analysis on what happened in the third quarter, but I can tell you what happened in the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, it was looking like we were going to try to make a push. We were going to try to make that final pushback to get the game to something respectable, to see if we can even mess around and win. And we couldn't stop anyone from getting to the rim. We had dudes who I don't even know their names, where they were just bullying us inside, getting the offensive rebounds and just putting it back up over us. And there was really nothing we could do about it. We were just getting knocked around like little rag dolls. And that is what everyone was worried about, and that's what happened. And I worry because when teams figure out that all you have to do is bully us, if they don't already know that going into the game, that's not going to be good. And I hate when we lose games and it's for reasons that we already knew. Like, we went into this season saying things like, well, we're too small, but the effort is going to make up for it. Like, we already knew what the issue was, but we put that Band-Aid on it again, just like last season, and said, yeah, but effort. Yeah, but hustle. Yeah, but doggy dog dogs. But we know what the problem is. We just put a Band-Aid on it, and the Band-Aid ripped off, and, now we're just bleeding everywhere, and I'm a little bit concerned, y'all, because that's such a blaring issue to have. It's not a situation of, where you can, improve upon something, right? Like, if they just weren't playing defense and it was just, an issue of, they just need to try harder, like it's an effort thing, then it's like, okay, I'm right there with you. Or if it was just the fact that no one outside of Kevin Durant was really hitting shots, then it's like, okay, they just have to improve upon their offensive schemes, push the ball a little more, wake Ben Simmons up or something, give him the sniffing salts, wake him up, and they will be just fine, right? us being too small is something you can't physically improve on. Like, unless the fellas are going out there with stilts and the muscle man arms from SpongeBob, I don't know how you fix that without making major trades. And now if we're trading people, then it's like, what was the point of the off season? But it's okay. It's okay. We'll be fine. Maybe there'll be someone in free agency that's not doing anything who's willing to come through or something like that, and you know, the buyout market or something. I don't know. I just know that the reason why we lost is because we're too small. And we all knew we were too small going into the season. So now that that is a serious issue, and other teams are going to figure that out by watching film and say, hey, they've only got one center, and they run sharp. What should we do? I just don't know. I don't know how that's going to work out for us. Let me ask Siri who we play next, because maybe it won't be a team as big, pause, and we'll be perfectly fine. Hey Siri. Who do the Brooklyn Nets play next? Well, she's just telling me that we lost to the Pelicans. That's not really helping me. Let me look it up. Who do we play? I have no idea who our next game is against. We play, give me 1 second. This is super unprofessional, my fault. We play the Raptors. Who's their center? Pascal Siakam. They got Scotty Barnes. I mean, that's not as bad, I guess. That's not as bad, you know. Maybe it won't matter that we've only got Claxton. Maybe that's not so bad, maybe. I mean, they're trash compared to us, right? Yeah. It's just Toronto. We'll be fine. They don't have, we just played their former dude, Valanciunas, so we'll be fine. Yeah, we'll be fine. It's just game 1. Don't worry, booty, y'all. Chin up, everyone. We'll be just fine. I'm sure the fact that we have this blaring issue on the team is not going to become a reoccurring factor as time goes on. Ben Simmons will wake up, we'll run the fast break again, and everything will be just fine. And I am choosing to be positive. I am not going to panic or worry or slander until at least Thanksgiving. That is the plan. Not until Thanksgiving. You're not going to hear me panic until Thanksgiving. So keep that in mind. I refuse to panic until Thanksgiving. Like, comment, subscribe. Nets Republic. I'm your host, Sever the Bond. On the road to 1,000 subscribers, really close to 800. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And I'll see y'all Friday night to discuss our next game. Hopefully, us being itty-bitty is not going to be an issue going forward like it seems to be now. Bye.